Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with ms.B. I just came back from a long walk in nature and it was beautiful and gorgeous. So I want to use this energy and this inspiration for today's practice together. For this project, you need your art journal or a mixed media paper, pencil for drawing and eraser just in case, a regular tip black Sharpie, fine tip black Sharpie and alcohol markers. I use Shuttle Art. You can use any brand that you like and you have available. If you don't have alcohol markers, don't feel discouraged. Please, I invite you to still practice with me. You can use different media such as coloring pencil, and I will let you know during the practice what is going to look different and what is going to change if you use such a medium, or maybe just regular markers. And I will let you know also during the practice what are the changes for you that you can apply to this project, because maybe you might not have the same amount of tint and tones that I have available in my palette. It's something that I'm really confident, because I have the academic preparation and the professional preparation and experience, is differentiation. What is differentiation through the project? Is that I will guide you step by step, and I will be very specific in the explanation, not only about the element and the principle of art and design that are included in every project, but also the use of the medium, which is the supplies that I'm using, and the supply that you might be used that is different than mine. I teach art in elementary, middle school, and first year of high school in a very advanced school, so I am very good in differentiating and in supporting all of my learners and meet them when they truly are. So my videos are amazing for all age, all artistic backgrounds, all artistic knowledge. If you're a child, if you're a teenager, if you're an adult, if you are a senior, if you're practicing by yourself, if you're practicing with your kids because you want to homeschool or you just want to include more art, this channel is a perfect place for you to find not only inspiration, but most of all, support and guidance. So I suggest you and I encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you didn't do so already, and to also visit and subscribe to my online store, not only to peruse beautiful original products, but also because I publish a weekly blog post that is with posts that are like very focused on different aspects of the artistic practices and the artistic process, and all different type of benefit and connection. So it's they're beautiful like a short, medium-sized article about important themes that are at least important to me, and that is my contribution to this international beautiful online community that we are building together. Now let's switch the camera so we can start, and I see you all very soon. Ciao. Okay, friends, this is my journal, and as some of you know, I like to do a little like frame with a black Sharpie. You can do these passages or this passage, or you can skip it, or you can do it with a ruler if you want something very precise. But I like the feeling of an organic journal when things are still well done and neat, but also hand, made. So now I'm going to create a very simple pattern, and I'm going to use directly my black Sharpie. If you are afraid to mess it up, you can use the pencil, follow me, and then you will go over the pencil with a Sharpie at your own convenience. You can pause the video and then start again. We are going to proceed with a very simple shape, which is like arches, right? A nice and curved line. And we are not overthinking the position, and the directions. We want to be a very spontaneous pattern, right? And so we want to give ourselves some freedom to work without having too many concerns. So some leaves, this will be leaves and flowers, is an interpretation, will be shorter, some other bigger. So take your time, prep your pattern, and we are going to put the black aside for a moment, and I'm gonna play with different type of green. As in my Shuttle Art markers, I have a lot of tint and tones. I will use the 56 moss green, celadon green, leaf green, jade green, light jade green, etc. Now, if you're using your Shuttle Art marker, you can follow my color palette, but I want to encourage you to choose your own green, because maybe you want this design to be darker or lighter than mine, so listen to yourself. If you do not have I'm gonna start to color while I talk. If you do not have many greens available, you need to be creative. First of all, I'm going to include also some nice pink, and you can play with that as well. And then if you have a light green and a dark green, which is something that you usually have even in regular, like a washable marker boxes, you can use the light green by itself, then the dark green by itself, then you can mix them together and overlap them, and then you can grab a yellow and you can go with the yellow over your light green, over your dark green. So you play with overlapping colors, right? And by doing this overlapping, you will create automatically different tint and tones of green, okay? So do not feel discouraged that you cannot do the project because you don't have many greens, because you can, as I say, include a little more of other colors such as pink. Green and pink go very well together. They are sort of complementary, so opposite side on the color wheel, and so it's like they complement each other very well. And these are like the colors that I just saw outside. So this was my inspiration. I saw different type of plants. There was grass and different flowers. And then here in the area are white, but I didn't want to let it white, and they are pink. This is why my pinkish design. So let's see, you play around. Don't overthink too much what colors, like are you using after which one. Just let the colors speak to you, okay? How do we let the colors speak to us? Well, first we gain a little knowledge about colors, and if you want to do so, I have two and many more, actually two practices on the color wheel, but many more practices that talk specifically about warm colors, cold colors, complementary colors, analogous colors, so you can become a little more familiar with your color wheels and how the colors interact with each other and also with us and with the environment and vice versa. Then you have to practice as much as possible and work on colorful pattern and design. They are not difficult on a technical level, so they don't create you any stress on the technical level, and they allow you to focus on the color and the color palette and see how you can interpret your own personality, your own moods, right? Feelings through a variety of colors. And then little by little, believe it or not, this is how you will truly become like an expert in colors, because you will form a deep connection that is not only made by knowledge, so by learning content that somebody else, in this case a teacher, is teaching you, but also by experimenting with these colors, by testing them, by using them over and over and over. This is how we build, a mastery of something, and we build a personal, deeper connection. And once you have that, you have to trust it all the time, because it's you, it's a representation of you. And so if you're doing this just with regular markers, so you have a less green available because maybe you have a different brand of alcohol markers, remember, just do you, proceed with care. If you need to go slower, go slower. You can pause the video as many times as you need and you want. You can watch the video entirely without doing anything, and then you will do the project at your own convenience with the modification that you want to and you need to apply to this project. Remember that, as I told during the introduction of the video, differentiation is very important, right? As a teacher nowadays, if you don't know and if you don't feel confident in differentiating and you don't know exactly how, it's going to become a little like a problem and an issue for students, because we now know that each one of us is a different learners, right? And we all have amazing talents, but our talents reside in different area. We learn at different pace, different times, right? And we need to respect that. That doesn't mean then we are not going to learn it properly and with rigor. So don't worry, like you need to personalize basically this practice. And if you have any question, you want to leave your comment in the comments of the video, I will be more than happy to support you and answer to your questions. If you have anything to share, this is what I love the most about our community, because although it's an online community of technically strangers, but I just feel very, very connected with all of my followers. And if you go through our different videos and the different conversation, you will notice that it is something true. It truly happens. It's not like that I'm just saying something. It's like people are truly, truly, truly connected with this channel, and you will find comments of people sharing their experience, what happened to them when they were doing a practice with me, or what if they have any questions, any requests. It's a very warm YouTube page, YouTube channel, which is, I love it and I'm very grateful. Now we keep coloring. I'm gonna have a little bit more pink to represent the flowers. We got some nice, very, very light purple. And of course, if you have like dual tip markers, the coloring doesn't take that long, because we can use the big tip. I would love to have one more pink, and I'm gonna place it here. Nice ice pink, which is a very cold. Now what I do, I go over with the same colors, not everywhere, but just the bottom and one side of my shade, okay? I'm going to do before I finish the last 3 green leaves, because I might want to use a different type of green, but it's just going over to create a little extra saturation, which will give also like an intense look to this pattern, and will make something like very simple, a little more like a little more interesting to look at. I'm going to use the same green over here since I love it. And then as you see, as I'm doing it, like, I'm going over, not everything, but some part. I'm going back with this green. And that we are creating a nice like ombre, right, a shadow. I will use this color over here as well. Beautiful green with blue undertone, one of my favorite. And probably here as well. As I said before, if you're still coloring, pause the video, take your time, mostly if you're using the front tip of the marker, so the thin ones, you need a little extra time. Make your decision if you want different type of green. I hope that you use them, right? And I truly like already this nice, beautiful, you see, just by adding this shadow, everything looks already more three-dimensional, more interesting. Now with the extra fine, this is when we truly exercise our fine motor skills, right? Hand muscles and brain-hand coordination, okay? Probably I want to do with the regular tip, we are going to create the line between our, you know, like in each of our leaves, even the ones that represent the flowers. I just want the pattern to be consistent, and please don't make them too perfect, don't make them too straight. Actually, if you give a little curve, it's perfect. You can look at the shape of your leaves and then support that shape and the direction with the direction of this line. Don't overthink it. Maybe in this one we just see a little tip and we see a little nothing in here and one in here. This one we'll see, because otherwise I have to divide. Now switch back to the thin markers and we start, right, by adding a beautiful simple pattern both sides of the lines. You can vary the numbers of lines, so the distance between the lines, you can do them very close, very far. Of course, the closest they are, the more movement you will give to your design, and better, you know, exercise that you allow yourself to practice today. I'm choosing like a moderate distance just because I feel that I do not want to cover this beautiful palette, and I do not want to cover these shadows that we create, right? Because I love them. So by doing my lines with some distance, I do not overpower the colors. But as I say, because you know yourself and you know what are your needs today, if you think that you need a little extra practice because lines still do not come very easy for you or very precise, you can decide to have a little like closer, like a little more lines closer to each other for a different practice, a little more intense. It will take probably a little longer, and the design at the end will be gorgeous, just a little more, like a little darker, because you will have more black, of course, on it. And as I always say, I wish I could see your beautiful creations when you interpret in my tutorial. And of course, if you want to copy exactly what I do, there is no shame in doing that. It's still a beautiful exercise, a great exposure. For example, today we're learning that we can create a beautiful, fulfilling patterns and design also with very simple elements such as lines and colors. These are the only two elements of art that we are using for this design. And as a principle, we are using unity because it looks unified through repetition of the same shapes, the same pattern, and very similar colors, right? We are also, and it creates a beautiful, like, harmonic design because we use a gentle color, except for a couple of green that are brighter, but the rest were pretty subtle. And we're using this pink instead to brighten it up. We play with another important, like, element, which is the colors, right? And when we do pattern and colorful art, of course, the colors are very important. And so the choices that we make will impact our design in a way or in another. In this case, because complementary colors, which are opposite on the color wheel, so the red is the complementary of green, right? But we know that pink is like a lighter, like has red in it, right? We use red and white in different proportion to create different type of green. We can mix other color primaries such as yellow, a little bit of blue to create many more tint and tones of pink at the same way we can do with the green. So this is why pink and green are considered complementary, and they complement each other, right? Green by soft and gentle the design, and pink by bringing vibrancy and extra energy. And together, because there is not too much coldness and there is not too much brightness, they create a beautiful, harmonic, subtle design. Definitely perfect for the season. And I told you that this inspiration came from my walk in nature that I just did it this morning. And these are the colors that I have noticed outside. And it is important for me to bring what I notice outside to my practice because, when we are present with our environment, with our life experience, we get inspired all the time, and it is beautiful to recycle this inspiration and use it, right? And do not think that just art is something completely separated by our life experience, because it is not. I truly like this simple pattern, and it came out so beautiful. I'm thinking about having it printed, for example, on a cushion, right? It would be on a pillow. It could be so cool. It's very, very, very springy. Exactly as I suggest you for the coloring. If you need a little longer time because to do the line, please pause the video, take your time, go slow. Always look your hands, what your pen is doing, what the marker is doing on the paper. Breathe in and out, stay connected and stay focused. I am working on some practice that will involve watercolors. And I would love to go back to a little bit more of oil pastels. So stay tuned if you like this media, or if you don't know them very well and you would like to learn more. We go step by step, so we don't do anything that it's overcomplicated. And if and where it is, I will guide you through every single steps and I will give you, as I did for this practice, different informations and explanations that you need to adapt to the practice, so I can meet you where you are right now. And just feel that with the spring, everything is kind of how can I say, like, it's everything is like restarting, and blossoming and coming out, and we feel this renewed energy. And so I have my mind packed with new ideas and new inspirations. And sometimes don't mind me if I talk and then I stop. It's just because I'm also focused on what I'm doing and I'm enjoying it very much. So sometimes it's just difficult and tricky to talk while I work. And if little mistakes happens like that, remember that with the black you can create a thicker line and cover the mistakes gently. Not a big deal. I like it even better. Or you can leave the imperfection on the paper because that makes the paper personality, the specific design. And we want our design and our practices to truly be authentic and original and to truly represent this very moment in our life and in our artistic journey. We don't want to always restart over, fix and correct, because the experience and the true benefits come from the process and the acceptance of the final product as it is. Sometimes we love it, sometimes we like it, sometimes we feel neutral, sometimes we don't like it at all. And it is beautiful that way. And over here, it's like a continuation of the grass. I'm going to do some tiny, tiny little dots because why not? If you have other leaves, you will do exactly what you have in here. This is the representation of the pollen, which is probably the only thing that I struggle with because I have a seasonal allergy, but I am so happy for the spring that I take it. I don't care about seasonal allergies, it's fine. But that would be the pollen. So this design is truly representing my whole experience for this spring and today's morning walks. And look how pretty is this design with very few elements, very simple practice, amazing exercise for our hands. And I hope you have fun. Let me know in the comment and I see you very soon with another. Ciao.